Economic figures for Turkey are out today, showing steady 4% growth in the first quarter of 2023. That's beating expectations in the market. Turkiye's economy is continuing its bounce back from the pandemic, with the return of millions of tourists and travelers set to visit the country this summer. The figures put Turkey well ahead of its European neighbours, which have seen lagging rates of economic growth amid high energy costs. The growth was mainly driven by pre-election and earthquake-related spending. The Turkish economy grew 7.6%, that's in the first quarter of 2022, when pandemic restrictions started to be lifted worldwide. Now, let's try and understand a bit more on this, and let's bring in economist Murat Ferman in Istanbul. Thank you very much for being with us today. Professor, how is Turkey going to maintain this level of growth, in your opinion, considering the rest of the world is really struggling with growth right now?
Hello and good morning. First and foremost, good news for Turkey, because under this global climate, which is not pro-growth nor growth-friendly, Turkey once again has managed to decouple in a positive way. And we managed to come up with a 4% growth rate in the first quarter. Despite so-called uncertainties going down to the elections, plus the tragedy of earthquake, Turkey once again has managed to really create a quite impressive result. But of course, when it comes to growth, not only the number, but the content or the backstory or the story behind those numbers become very important. Once again, Turkey has managed to reach this level of growth with the help of consumer expenditures. But for this first quarter, there has been an impressive contribution from construction industry, which has surpassed all the previous or the recent growth figures. Of course, with unfortunately the tragedy of earthquake in turn boosted the construction industry's growth motivation, and there's an impressive 5% growth rate in the first quarter. So therefore, of course, we see a related effect of inflation, or rather high inflation rate, encouraging households and consumers to spend right now, or maybe to boost up their personal spendings.
Right, Professor. So consumer spending, also construction helping there. But moving forward, how would you characterize the Turkish economy? And I'm speaking about the fundamentals, demography, population growth, but also production rate.
Well, now Turkey is becoming a middle-aged country. Our average rate has reached to 32 years of old. This means that now we have an ample population who is far ahead of their education and training years, who have had a relative considerable experience in business, and who have mastered a certain level of expertmanship in putting out really growth and value, added value. So therefore, in the coming 5 to 10 years, Turkey will reach her prime regarding the abilities of growth and productivity. But after year 2045 and 2050, then we shall start a need to find new and talented young labor force to keep up with the developments. Of course, this composition of recent growth, mostly depending on customer expenditure, brings in some additional challenges to Turkey's government due to the fact that we need to see, we all agree on the fact that we need to fight against inflation against inflation, and all anti-inflationary policies at the end of the day are restrictive and should inhibit some kind of consumer spending.
Right.
Maybe the right term would be discouraging it. So now Turkey has to maintain a very balanced, if you may, growth strategy in the coming days.
Right.
On one side, trying to offset the unwanted parameters of high inflation, meanwhile not discouraging the growth in that sense.
Professor Murat Ferman, thank you very much for your analysis.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
And now let's go to other top stories from around the world.